Which is the team, with the most on the line this postseason?
It has to be the 76ers, just because, you have Joel Embiid playing at an MVP level. And I always say this, you risk it all to get James Harden to pair. And we all thought that James Harden, a former MVP, would be, on a given day, he should be able to put up 25 alongside Embiid, and that pick and roll should be unguardable. But they've hit some real adversity, and it's not easy to change teams twice in 2 years. But still, the expectations that this team have are great. The health window, when we talk about windows and championship windows for Joel Embiid is now. I think that this team is the one that everyone's going to be watching to see how well they do, especially after the noise they made after the trade deadline.
My Twitter mentions are going to go crazy every time I speak on Utah. For some reason, people don't like me talking on Utah. And to me, it's Utah. It's got to be the Utah. They've been one of the better teams in the Western Conference the last 3 years, and all they have to show for that is 2 first-round exits and a second-round exit. I've continuously said, who is going to be their consistent next second guy? Who's going to play Robin? Who's going to be that consistent 20-point-a-game scorer? And they haven't. They thought Mike Conley was going to be that. It's not necessarily him. Rudy Gobert, that's not really his game. He'll give you 15 and 15, but it's not his game. Jordan Clarkson has great firepower, but that's coming off the bench. They're missing that second key guy. And don't be surprised if this falls flat on his face again, if Donovan Mitchell leaves Utah.
Okay, you're just dropping spice all over the place. All right, Perk.
You know what? I'm going with the Phoenix Suns. We're talking about a team that has an MVP caliber guy. They have a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. They went to the finals last year, blew a 2-0 lead to the Milwaukee Bucks. They came back. They have the best record in the NBA. Chris Paul is not getting any younger. This is his time to actually cross off the one thing on his list that he wants to achieve, and I think that he needs to achieve, and that's winning the championship. So I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns, and I think they have the most on the line this postseason.
Not to mention Coach of the Year candidate as well. Zach?
Chene gave the great answer for Philly. Matt Barnes nailed it with Utah. You could argue for the Warriors, given Steph, Draymond, and Clay are getting up there in age, but I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I agree with Perk. It's the Phoenix Suns. It doesn't feel like it should be the Phoenix Suns. It doesn't feel like it should be, but they've been by far the best team this year. Chris Paul is in his mid to late 30s. DeAndre Ayton is a restricted free agent. Cam Johnson is eligible for an extension after the season. At some point, you're not going to be able to keep this team together because Robert Sarver won't spend enough money to do it. And you just never know. It always feels like it's going to last forever. It doesn't last forever. The Nuggets are coming loaded next season. The Clippers are coming loaded next season. I pick Phoenix. Go out and win the title. You might never get another chance this good.
My goodness.
Not mad at that.
Oh, my gosh. All right,
you
Zach.
Make Perk leave?
I know. Perk's like, done.
Perk
He's like,
left,
I'm good because I just can't be a part of this. He's like, look, done, certified. Thank you, Kendrick Perkins. Zach, which player has the most on the line this postseason?
The answer should be, it could be Chris Paul for all the reasons that I just said. I mean, he's the oldest player on the Suns. He's never won a championship. It's the one thing missing from his resume. So you could argue for Chris Paul, and I will argue for Chris Paul. But the real answer really is James Harden. Nobody has more pressure on him. No player, no coach, no GM than James Harden. Guess what? That's the consequence of forcing 2 trades in 2 years. You better show up in the biggest games, and if you don't, all hell is coming for you.
Zach, you know what's hilarious? We have the same answers just for different reasons. My answer is Chris Paul before, mine was the 76ers. But yeah, most on the line in the playoffs. Chris Paul is going to be 37 May 6th, I believe. I think it's May 6th or 7th or something like that. So yeah, he's getting up in age. His team has the most wins. This is the time for him to win a championship. And he's on the short list of being one of the most decorated players without a championship. He's led 4 different franchises to a record amount of wins. So my answer is, yes, we all know James Harden has a lot of pressure, but I think when it comes to championships and being able to solidify his legacy, Chris Paul is going to be balling out because he knows this might be his best shot.
I want CP to win a ring, just for the record. But my guy that I feel like has the most pressure on is Kyrie Irving. And for the simple fact that whether you agree or not, what he decided to do hurt his team. So I think, obviously, with a healthy Kyrie, one of the most talented players we've ever seen, if he has a full season with Kevin Durant for the most part, this team is not even at the bottom. At one point, they were at the top of the East. So I think that for Kyrie to make everyone kind of forget about what went on, and again, I'm not saying I disagree with his move. I'm saying his move hurt his team. I think for everyone to just, for Kyrie to make everyone forget about what he did this season, he has to come out, and he's capable of doing it, and just dominate this playoffs, and people won't even remember that he only played 30 games this year.
See, I got to say, I agree with Zach. I think it's James Harden, and it's because of the reason Zach said. And if he has a spectacular playoff performance, I think that some of that noise could start to fizzle down a little bit. But let's go from the player who has the most pressure on them to the player who could just dazzle us the most.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.